Welcome to Just Analysis. No bros, no BS, just analysis. We're going to talk about how to make money in crypto in like as painless a way as possible. This isn't a scalping strategy. This isn't a overly confusing strategy. This isn't something that is going to take a lot of learning either. Um, you should know how to look at a candlestick chart. In other words, you should be able to know where the high of a candle is. So, the wicks or the shadows, whatever you want to call them, those are the highs of the candlesticks. And you should be able to know how to use a drawing tool. And we're going to go over what tool that is. And that's pretty much all you need to know. You don't need to know a lot. You don't need to know. You don't have to have your certification from the International Fellowship of Technical Analysts or the Chartered Market Technicians Association. This is a very, very simple way to um, passively identify and be positioned for trades before they happen. Because I don't want to make this too long, but it is the 9th of December. And what happened, just a few days, like back on Saturday, right? If I'm looking at Cardano here on Saturday, the market opened up, or the midnight was the time frame, and I'll go to the 4 hour chart actually, a bit easier. What we had happen was a pretty swift drop south, very very fast. And depending on how long you've been in cryptos, this isn't anything new. This is is a pretty normal thing that happens, but it's just been a while since it's happened. And you went from 148 all the way down to $1.16. So a 21.25% loss. But if you go back to where it was trading, in the during the day, back on the Thursday and Friday, I mean, you had a 32% drop. But here's the problem: when you see these, everybody goes, "Well, that was a good buying opportunity." Yeah, that's true. But if we go to like a 5 minute chart and we want to go back, do you think at what time of the day would have you noticed that this big drop was happening? And at what point would have you been able to get in on it? I mean, there's very little time involved here. I mean, you would have to be a very even people who are active every day. Like I do this for a living. I miss these things for two reasons. One, it happens over just a short period of time, and two, it's midnight on Saturday. I just happen to be working then, but I mean, so how does a normal person take advantage of these things? And this is I've talked about this before a little bit, but I call it the 30 40 60. And the 30 40 60 is a very simple. I'll use Bitcoin. I'll use Ethereum for this. The 30 40 60 strategy is very simple. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a weekly chart, right? So we have weekly candlesticks up, and every candlestick represents a week. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tool here, this date and price range, and I'm going to measure, I'm going to start it really, whatever the current candle is, and I'm just going to, measure back 10 bars. All right. It's 10 bars. And that gives me, depending on how you want to draw it, you don't have to use that tool. You could just use the time tool, but this is my price range I'm looking at, because what I want to identify is the highest high of the last 10 weeks. Okay. And that is this candlestick up here. The highest high is up here. Bam. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the same tool, or you can use the price range tool. You can get rid of that. Really, you may not even have to draw it. You can just probably visually count where how many bars back 10 is, and be able to tell which the high is. And this is true on any crypto. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to your price range tool, and you're going to measure down 30% roughly, and then 40%, and 60%. Why not 50? There's a lot of reasons why, but I will get into that some other time. Then all you would do, so this is all you would do, is you would place your buy limit orders here. I don't know how much I don't know what your risk management plan is. I don't know how much you're comfortable risking. That is a very individual decision that you need to make for yourself. And if you don't know, you should talk to a financial advisor, of which I am not. But if you want to identify a way that will allow you to kind of, um, you know, not miss out on a lot of these dips, this is a very passive way to do this. And you would check this every week. I mean, and sometimes you may not have to. There are many weeks you wouldn't have to. But Ethereum, you wouldn't have gotten anything on that. I don't think so, right? No, you wouldn't have gotten anything on that Ethereum setup. But there's plenty of other altcoins that you would have. So we just looked at Cardano, and again, I'm gonna count back 10 weeks. So I can use a date range bar. There's 10 bars. And the highest high of the last 10 bars was up here. So I'm going to take my price range tool, measure down 30%. 40%. And 60%. I definitely would have gotten filled on that 40% drop. Possibly in the 30. But the point is that you are able to be positioned in a lot of these moves that otherwise you would miss. And the reason that I don't use the 50% level is because that is a level that's mostly respected during major pullbacks. When you have moves like this that occur, they often exceed the 50% level, or they don't even get there. But you do see in cryptocurrencies is an extremely high ratio of 30 and 40% retracements that get hit pretty frequently. So there's another. We could look at some other altcoins just as an example. VeChain. Going back the last 10 weeks. And let's pretend that we were, looking at, last week, beginning of last week. So we would have looked at the last 10 bars. The high was up there. 30% down brings us here. 40% is there. And then 60% from the highest high of the last 6 weeks brings us right around there. So you would have gotten the 40% fill. You wouldn't have gotten the 60. But think about it this way: you're getting something at a pretty sizable discount relative to the highest level it was trading at before. So some may look to build off only the the highest close, which is perfectly fine. Which is, I think, something that you should do, especially if there's something like okay, well, for instance, if you look at the wick over here on VeChain, if this was flipped over, that is probably not a very honest representation of traded price. So you would use the body of the candlestick as opposed to the wick. But that's it. I mean, that is seriously it. There's not a whole heck of a lot of mystery to this. There's not a whole heck of a lot of thought that has to go into it. It requires very little work. And I mean, unless you're looking at a bajillion million altcoins, that, yeah, you're going to probably have to keep updated. But if you're keeping track with the most recent the highest high of the last 10 weeks, and you're placing limit orders at 30%, 40%, and 60% of the move away from that high, you are positioning yourself for entries that you don't have to be worried about missing, and you don't have to worry about thinking about whether you should have entered or not, because you'll already have that there. So yeah, that's it. Check out you could put something in the comments if you have questions, and I'll answer them. And maybe I'll just redo this video if I really slaughtered it. But I hope that this video helps a little bit with folks who are struggling to find when they should enter a market, or if they feel like they're always missing out on some of these big drops. This is in my opinion, I think it's a great way to help get in on some of these fast moves, and you don't even really have to be there. You have the order resting and waiting and pending, and I mean, they can trigger while you're sleeping or while you're at work. I think it's a fantastic way to take advantage of fast market swings, but not have to actively be there watching the market the whole time. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.